right, today's the day. Big tasting exam. It happens in about 40 minutes. I am excited. I am nervous. And I've got all my lucky stuff on. I've got my Patrick Star socks on. I've got my lucky rock and roll Vans on. I've got my Kalamazoo craft beer sweatshirt on. I've got my Guardian Brewing toque. I've got my pencils, my erasers, my flashlight. I think I'm ready to do this. Wish me luck. And it's done. I think I did pretty well. We just had the debriefing with the proctors, and although my scores didn't come in exactly the same as the proctors, that was one of the things they let us know, was that as long as you have good explanations for what you perceived, matching the scores is a pretty wide range, and if you're within 5-6 points, you don't lose a whole lot of points on your overall score for the exam. I will know in about 6 months. Thanks to the guys at the Beer City BJCP for taking the time to educate all of us. Matt and Perry, you guys did a great job. If you're in West Michigan and interested in that, I will put a link in the comments below. So I got my results on April 20th of 2024, which was about 6 months after the tasting exam. Now here's how a tasting exam goes. You have 6 samples of various styles, and those are at the discretion of the exam director. They can be store-bought, brought in from a brewery, or they could be homebrew examples. In my case, our exam was all homebrew samples, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure they were all homebrew examples. You have 1 hour to judge all 6 samples. And the judging is just like any other competition. It's a BJCP score sheet. The only difference is on the left-hand side where all those descriptors are that you can check the check boxes for, like esters and phenols and diacetyl and stuff like that. None of those definitions are there anymore. You have to know what all of those descriptors are when you check them. You need a 60% or better to pass. And as your score increases, basically you have the opportunity to become a recognized judge from 60 to 69%. And then you can be a certified judge from 70 to 79%. The proctors are usually higher ranking, preferably grandmaster or master BJCP judges, and they will judge the beers in a separate room from where you take your exam. And afterwards, there's a debriefing where one of the proctor judges will come out and tell you what they found from each sample, and kind of gives you an idea of how well you did before going home. And like I said, it's going to be 6 months before you get your results. So my suggestions for studying for the tasting exam would be, first of all, to get to know the BJCP style guidelines. Really look those over. Taste as many styles as you can. Get familiar with what those styles are, their differences, their similarities, that sort of thing. The other thing that I would highly recommend, if you can find one, is to join or even start your own study group with a group of folks like I was able to do. Again, a big shout out to Beer City BJCP, and again, I will link them in the description so that if you're in the West Michigan area, you can contact them and see when they're holding their next study sessions. That was absolutely invaluable to me to be able to pass this exam. The other thing you can do is judge as many competitions as possible. you don't even need to have a BJCP rank. You don't have to even be a provisionary judge or anything like that to judge a competition. If you don't have a ranking, you are referred to as a novice judge, and that's perfectly fine. The other judges that you'll be paired with are usually a higher ranking judge, and they're very helpful with you to understand things, help you fill out your score sheets properly, uh, work on your descriptors, your perceptions, that sort of thing. Now, some people try to game the system. I heard from a couple of different people that they have tried to do things like score all of their beers within the mid 30s. That way they would be within about 10 points or less of any score that the proctor judges would have. Others have looked for the trick sample or samples. Um, I know that one of the things that has been told to me in competitions is a beer will be given to you and you'll be asked to judge it in the wrong category. So you may be given a brown ale, an American brown ale, and asked to judge it as an American porter. So that's one of the things, kind of a curveball they may throw you. The idea is not to trick you or try and make you fail the test or give you those sorts of things. It's a test to see how good of a judge you are. And so one of the things that you're going to come across in competitions is someone who sends a brown ale in as a porter, and you'll have to know this to be able to spot those things and be able to give good feedback on your sheets. I don't recommend gaming the system. Just judge the beers like you would in any competition. Figure out what it is that you're perceiving in each of the categories, appearance, aroma, flavor, mouthfeel, and then put that all together and figure out how close is this to the style that you're supposed to be judging. And the other thing I can tell you for this is be patient. Like I said, it takes at least 6 months to get your results. And I know I was checking my emails after about 2 months. I was checking maybe once a week. About a month before I got my results, I got an email from the BJCP saying that my test had been graded and I had been given provisionary access to the BJCP website, but I did not have a BJCP number because you have to actually pass the tasting exam to get your official judge number. And after I got that, it was a daily check of my emails. Did I get my email? Did I get it? Are my results in? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Funny enough, I was judging a competition when I got my results. I was actually in line for lunch after the morning session, and one of my buddies said, "Hey, did you check your emails? Because the results are in." And so I checked and found my results, and I was absolutely amazed. So as far as my results go, I did pass. I received an overall 77 on the test. My best scoring beer overall was a best bidder, which was in the 85 to 90% range. My worst score was split between a Helles Export and a Saison. Both of those were in the 70 to 75% range. And then all the others fell in like the 75 to 80% range. So when you get your results, there's going to be 5 scoring areas that they look at. The first one is your perceptive accuracy. That's how well you perceive all the elements in the samples. The second is your descriptive ability, and that's how well you describe what you perceive. The next one is your feedback, and that's comparing your perceptions to the style guidelines, to the style that you're judging, and then pointing out any deviations or technical flaws, and then the suggestions on how to improve from those flaws. The other section is your completeness, and that's how well you fill out your score sheet. And if you have watched my video on score sheet nevers, which I will also link below, you'll know what I mean by filling out your score sheet completely. And then the last one is your scoring accuracy. And what they do is they take a composite of all of the proctor judges' scores, and then how well your score, or how closely your score compares with their scores. So, like I said, I was able to get a 77 on the exam, and that makes me now a certified BJCP judge. I was able to skip over recognized and become a certified judge. Once again, it's just awesome to be able to share with you guys uh, going through this. I really wanted to make sure that I caught how I was feeling and the emotions of exam day and be able to share those with you. And I want to talk with you about how you have taken the tasting exam, if you have already. If you haven't, if you've got any other questions for me, shoot me a comment, or you can email me at letsgetjudgey@gmail.com, and we can talk about it. I'd be more than happy to share my results with you, show you my score sheets, and we can talk a little bit more about it. Until then,